Welcome to Spirit Portal, a podcast with me, Erika Anderson. I'm an evidential medium and a spiritual seeker, always on a quest to more deeply understand the magic and mystery of this universe. Join me in an exploration of the realms, both seen and unseen. I'll share my insights and be joined by inspiring guests with their own unique perspectives on living in this quantum, magical universe. Welcome back to Spirit Portal. I'm Erika, I'm your host, and thank you for being here with me today. Today, I thought it would be cool to talk about what it takes to be successful in your spiritual practice. I get a lot of questions from people asking when they're ready to start their practice, how to maintain a successful practice, and what it looks like day in and day out. And although it is different for everybody, there's a lot of little tips that I can share with you about how to do this. First and foremost, don't treat your practice, the work that you're doing, as your time to spiritually connect. So what I mean by that is a lot of people start doing readings, mediumship readings, connecting with spirit, and they stop doing their own personal work with the spirit world. And the reason why you probably began starting this work as a medium or a psychic or a healer is from your initial connection with the spirit world. They reached out to you, or you stumbled across something that shifted your perspective. You had a spiritual awakening. You started being able to connect to spirit in a new way. And then your relationship with spirit built from there, and you started recognizing you had these abilities and these skills and a desire to help people. If you start treating your work like it is your spiritual practice, one, you're going to get burnt out because you're not going to have that foundation anymore of your practice. Two, you eventually will lose your abilities. And I don't say that lightly, but I do mean that when you stop sitting with spirit, stop communicating with spirit, stop having a relationship with spirit, well, what happens when we have a relationship and we don't put any effort and energy into it, and we take that being, that person for granted, well, they kind of fade away. They kind of filter out. It doesn't mean your skills and abilities won't be there, but it means that your foundation won't be there. So things will start looking different. I think that one thing that's really interesting is paying attention to how your energy flows. So there are times in my practice as a medium and a psychic, intuitive, whatever, that I really feel like I need to diversify my days. I have a really hard time sitting for a really long time. And when you're doing readings, most of that is sitting, right? Unless you're doing group demonstrations and stuff, which is a whole different can of worms, beautiful worms, butterflies, maybe, if you will. Anyways, so sometimes I need to diversify myself. So maybe I feel like, wow, I have been taking on a lot of emotions, or I'm starting to feel depleted. I have this type of personality. I'm a nurse, I'm an acupuncturist, I'm a psychic medium, I'm a mom, I volunteer, I do a lot of different things, and that's how I really like engaging in the world. I treat my mediumship practice as it is the most sacred thing I do. It's right up there with being a mother. It is so unbelievably sacred to me and important to me that when I start feeling like a little bit itchy internally, like, whoa, I need to do different things for a little bit, I might start podcasting more. I might start teaching more. I might reduce my readings from 6 or 8 readings a week to 2 or 3 readings a week, and I might do more acupuncture work. Sometimes I will look for short-term jobs as a nurse. Like, there's a lot of different things I do to diversify my income so that the sacredness of what I'm doing for the world of spirit and for, us humans doesn't become diminished or exhausted. It's interesting because we have been going through the eclipse season. And if you know anything about eclipse season, usually it is depending on where things are happening for you energetically and astrologically. Something is usually eclipsed out of your life, and within that, new energy is brought forward. And so I have just had such a powerful eclipse season, and Thursday is kind of the culmination of like the two. But it's fascinating to me. I had been really trying to diversify my work a little bit. I accepted a new position doing acupuncture at this absolutely beautiful clinic with people that I just love and feeling pretty good about it. Had a nagging feeling that maybe it wasn't the right timing for me, but I accepted it because they offered it to me and were really excited to have me there. I accepted it back in June, May, maybe late May, and started doing the work. And while I absolutely love the people, and of course I love doing acupuncture, I just kept having this feeling that it wasn't going to be right for me. In the meantime, I'm still keeping up with my mediumship work and my psychic work. And anyways, eclipse season comes along and I am like really unhappy there. It's like too far of a drive. It's taking too much time. I'm not seeing enough patients for it to be worth my while. And I end up speaking with the people who run the clinic, and they're beautiful, beautiful people. And I'm like, this isn't right. They're like, yep, we understand. No problem. We want you to be happy. So I stop working there as of like 5 days ago. And as soon as I stop, as soon as I stop, I am getting 5 to 6 emails, requests for booking every day, every other day. It's wild. It's like I had to eclipse that out of my life to give myself more energy because spirit is saying, no, Erika, we really need you right now. Like you need to focus on this. And it's been fascinating for me because sometimes you have to say goodbye to something in order for something else to open up. Now, does that mean quit your job or don't do full-time work doing something else? I am not saying that. Maybe I would even say the opposite of that. Find other ways where you can have more space and time. But for me, the thing that I'm trying to explain to you is that having the awareness, following your intuition, following the flux of energy that you're putting out, and how does it relate to the energy of what you're trying to create or what the universe is calling in for you. The other crazy thing that's happened to me in the eclipse season is I discovered the root of some of my health issues. And within that, I have had to stop drinking alcohol at all. Short term, I don't know, maybe it'll be like 6 months, maybe it'll be 6 weeks. It kind of depends on the healing in my gut. But that has been such a beautiful blessing in disguise. Like, I drink like an Italian, I'll have a glass of wine and enjoy it with dinner, or I don't know. It's a social thing and it's an enjoyable thing. I love having a glass of wine or whatever, However, stopping alcohol completely has been mind blowing for me. And I want to share that too, because I think it pertains to having a practice. I've been doing this for a long time. I have a deeply devotional practice on my own, and I have deep devotional reverence for the work I do. It's just how I live in this world. And not drinking alcohol at all has really opened me up to the amount of clarity that I have, even not having a glass of wine at night. It is wild to me how much clearer the downloads that are coming in my own spiritual practice in my life. The amount of clarity that I have in my sleeping has changed so much. And again, like I'm a 40-something-year-old woman, and I just really took it for granted that it played that big of a role in my life. It was extremely easy for me to just not drink anymore. So that's also great to know, right? But when we have these things that we do without thinking about it in our lives that we are habitually doing, maybe because we're cooking dinner, it feels nice to put on some beautiful music and have a glass of wine while you're cooking dinner for your family. It's like, la, 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 this is happy. However, I think it's really good sometimes to step back. And the eclipse season was like so amazing for me. I basically quit my job and stopped drinking and did a whole new reboot on my health. And I am so grateful for it. And it's been a really profound journey for me. And so, as someone who's in this practice, if you're looking to build your own practice, I would say look at the areas in your life that maybe you're doing just out of habit that may or may not serve you. I'm not saying I'll never not drink again. I'm sure I will. But it's been such a great clarifying experience for me in my day-to-day life that I'm just like so grateful for that alone. But plus then what it's doing for like these issues I have in my digestive system that it's really helping with. And so sometimes, when something goes out of our life, whether it's a job that we're not super excited about, or it is, something like alcohol, or, whatever it may be, a person or a mental habit, it's really good to take a look at that and see what else could open up when you have that free energy. And that's the other thing that's happened for me is I just have so much more energy, energy for being creative, energy for being outside. And when I was on a deep walk in the forest yesterday, and I found this beautiful place where I felt the energy switching so deeply into another realm. I sat in that forest for an hour and a half, and I could. And I felt spirit say, Erika, we need you to have space right now because new things are coming, big things are coming, and we need you to be part of that transpondence. And so give yourself some freedom of stepping out of your routines, habits, and standard way of thinking and allow yourself to see what happens when you create a new space. And, I wasn't really looking for that. I was actually looking to fill space, and the opposite happened in this eclipse season. And that's the other thing. Sometimes working with spirit, they throw things at us and it feels like something is happening to us. And the other piece that I would want to say with you for that is try to look at things as this isn't happening to me, because I could have looked at it that way. Wow, I have all of these health problems and it's all resolving from this. Poor me. I didn't know this for the last 15 years. I can't believe this. I have to stop drinking alcohol. Oh my God. My job, I don't like it. I have to quit. Instead, I was like, wow, there's an opportunity presenting here. I'm excited to see what this opportunity is. It's happening for us. Okay. Not to diminish horrible problems that people have, but if I hadn't found out about what was going on in my gut, it could have turned into a really horrible problem in the future. So I'm really grateful for that. And so opening up and understanding that when you're working with spirit, we want to work with them. And you can't do that if you're treating your work as your practice. You need to maintain and continue to devote yourself to the practice of knowing spirit, of being in partnership with spirit. So I think those are two really important things that I wanted to talk about. I also want to talk about when you are in this working world, say you are a medium, or maybe you're a mediumship student, or maybe you live in a place where there aren't that many mediums, but a handful. And I say medium because that's what I really identify with, but it could be so many other aspects of this work. You could be a tarot reader. You could be, it's just so many different things, right? So I really encourage you not to talk negatively about other people. One, it brings down your energy. It brings down your capacity to hold love when you're filling it with poison, and that's what gossip is. But two, you're also creating an unsafe energy, an unsafe environment for people, because it's like when you talk negatively about people, other people are going to automatically assume that you're talking negatively about them. Whether you are or not, it doesn't really matter. You're putting that energy out. So let's give an example. There are a lot of people who are unethical in their spiritual practices, and then they'll come to me and they'll be like, I can't believe this. And I'll say, yeah, that sounds unethical. And it's good to really use your discernment. Let's talk about what that looks like. I'm not going to bash the other person. Okay. If someone comes up to me and says, oh, this medium said this about you, I'll say, oh, isn't that funny? I don't care. What people think of me is none of my business. I really don't care if someone doesn't like me. And I have to say that took me a good solid 35 years to get to that place of not caring if someone liked me. But I really, really don't care anymore. And so I just want to say that when you are doing this work, you need to have your own emotional sovereignty. You have to have your own emotional sovereignty, one, to come out of the closet as someone who does this work, two, to stay grounded in your practice, and three, know that when you are out there and you're in your community and you're getting some sort of attention, there are going to be people who give you bad attention. And that was really shocking to me when I first started my practice. I was like, oh, how could they say something like that? Or how could they write something like that? Or what kind of person does that? And then you realize somebody who is either suffering or enjoys the suffering of others. I don't care what they think about me, block. And so, energetically, you need to have sovereignty around who you are, what you're doing. And that really, really, really comes back to you taking responsibility for yourself. There is a lot of comparison that happens as a student. I experienced it myself when I was a student, and I see it over and over and over and over and over again in other students, whether they're mine or other people's students. And I know comparing yourself to other people turns into poison, turns into jealousy, it turns into poor me syndrome. Okay. So you need to have responsibility for yourself and understand that who you are is fucking special. You are sacred. You are on a journey of discovering your infinite self. You are on a journey of discovering who you are in this interdimensional infinite world. Okay, this part of you that is learning mediumship or learning psychic development is so sacred because you're literally opening the blinds and letting the sunlight in and letting your energy meet it. Okay, and so what someone else's experience is or what their purpose is theirs, just like yours is yours. Not everybody is meant to be famous. Okay. And being famous or being noticed or being liked is not the goal of this work. And so if you are finding yourself in a place of feeling like insecure a lot, it is not a sign that you're not meant to do this work. It's a sign that you're meant to do a little bit more inner development work hand in hand with it. Okay. When those wounds come up, it's because spirit, the universe, your higher self is saying, hey, wow, there's something here that I can work with and something here that I can heal. And I'm going to take some time to discover this part of myself because there's something valuable here. Why do you think we go on this journey of awakening and expanding and learning about our infinite selves? Just so we can like be cool? No, we do this so that our souls can grow too. My soul grows every time I discover something about myself that I've been hiding or that I find shady or that don't like or that I compare it to someone else and maybe I'm like, ooh, look at them and look at me, right? I'm really relishing in the fact that I'm highly imperfect, and this is a really amazing opportunity to work hand in hand with the spirit world to grow, to be aware, to find more love for myself, to allow myself to surrender more into this human experience so that my soul can grow into the spirit experience. And I just really encourage you to do that personal work hand in hand, side by side. Okay. A lot of things that come up for people are money wounds, being seen, being afraid. So, these could be finding your self-worth, finding your ability to shine in a public place, finding your ability to talk about who you are from the inside out. All of those are really common things that come up for people, but a lot of other things that come up are sister wounds, brother wounds, feminine wounds, masculine wounds. I mean, you name it, you start opening this door. You have to have a way to nurture and care for yourself when you're doing it because all of the darkness of yourself cannot be hidden. It's going to be illuminated along with your ability to connect with spirit or doing these other things. I can speak from this for so much experience. I'm laughing because it's like the classic, like the teenager thinks they're so mature. Yeah, that's been me most of my whole life. Like, oh, I really didn't realize what a hardened shell and what hurt I was carrying around in my soul until the spirit world cracked it open with mediumship abilities and taught me to look deeply through myself and understand what energy is. And so when you are on this path, like Don't be afraid of yourself. Don't run away from yourself. Know that the more that you heal, the more healing that you're able to be a conduit for from the spirit world. And that is amazing. And as you heal and you begin to learn about yourself and love yourself, you begin to trust yourself. And that makes you a better healer, intuitive, psychic, reader, whatever it is, because you are in tune and aligned and aware of yourself. So you can understand when the shadow side of yourself, like the part of you that is searching for perfection or being liked or whatever the shadows are that you carry, is in control versus the part of you that's being a conduit for spirit. Okay. The other thing I want to say is that you don't need to have social media to be an amazing medium or intuitive worker. I would say that 90% of my clients that come to me through referrals. I have social media because I like it. I like it. I like to put videos out. I like to say things. I'm podcasting because I like to talk about what has changed in my life and helped me so much. I like it. If you don't like it, don't build your energy there because it's going to feel fake. It's not going to feel authentic to you. It's not going to be aligned to you. So instead of doing social media, like, again, social media is rarely, hardly ever where I get my clients. I get clients from my podcast, I think because it's long form, so they get to know me and they trust me, and then they want to come in and then they work with me, whether through readings and classes or whatever it may be. Social media for me is a form of short form expression. I do it for me. I don't do it for others. And there's an educational component to it, or maybe there's a political component to it, but I do that for me. My clients come from word of mouth. And I think that's the best way to have clients, because when things are word of mouth, it's from one person's positive experience, trust building, relationship building through that experience, and saying, hey, meet this person. It was really profound for me. So if you don't like social media, don't do it. Instead, get yourself out there, do free readings, do free classes, get involved in groups of healing circles, volunteer at your church if your church is open to shit like that. You know how musicians busk in the street, like offer readings in the street. There's so many ways to get people to know who you are and the energy that you bring to a situation and how you bring that energy forward. You don't have to do it through social media. Again, if you don't like it, don't do it. Build your relationship somewhere else. And also make sure you're spending time with the spirit world, your guides, your guardians, your allies, the Holy Spirit that are there with you, and work with them. Okay. There's a symbiosis in this, and it's not you, trying to build a business against the world. It's saying, where can I be of service? How can I be a conduit for more healing? How can I be someone that brings more love into the world? How can I best use my life and what gifts I have and what experiences I've had and the wisdom I've cultivated from those experiences to be in service to others? And so when you start switching your dialogue into, I'm here to be of service, instead of I'm trying to do this, there's such a different energy that comes out. And in that energy is your authenticity. And when you're authentic, you are in alignment with yourself. When you're in alignment with yourself, your energy clearly radiates into the world. When your clear sense of self becomes like the energy around you, people know that that's real, for one. Two, they can come up and meet it and decide like, oh, this energy feels really aligned with mine. Wow, there might be something here. And then that is where people will start to say, hey, I'd like to know what you do more. Or, hey, like someone mentioned this. And when you're aligned with yourself and your clarity and your own energy, and that's what's shining out, that is the goods. That is where people are like, she's my person. He's my person. I feel this. I trust this. So it's so important to know thyself, be of service, and come back to that over and over and over and over again. I think that there's a time too in our mediumship again, I'm just using that term, our development as a professional or in this work, where things wax and wane. And I've noticed a lot of people get really scrambly when things wane, decrease. And what's happening then is you start scramble and you're starting to thin your energy out because you're starting to feel a little paranoid or you're starting to feel a little desperate. Instead, I say, ooh, come right back in. This is guides. This is like the universe saying, hey, there's something you're ignoring. There is something in your shadow self that needs some work right now. And when you start feeling scrambly, it's because we're trying to give you space so that you can come back and get into alignment. So when you start feeling that scramble or that desperation or whatever it may be, I want you to take a breath. I want you to touch grass. I want you to get real with yourself and say, what is it that I know that I'm pretending I don't know? Or ask yourself the question, what do I know and I'm trying to ignore it? Because in there is your answer. And once you kind of move through that area, there's going to be more space on the other side. 3. Actually, I don't know why I said 3. Another point is that when we start this path, when we have the opening experience, we have these visions of what we want, right? And when you authentically move through the process of going through your shadow self, of facing the demons that you haven't wanted to face, of letting go of conditioning, of opening your heart and surrendering to love in a whole new way. The way things play out is going to look very different most of the time than what you imagined. And so if you're working with the world of spirit, it's really important that you work on that relationship so that you build trust, both with yourself and both with the spirit world. One thing I always say to my clients and to my students, and even just, to my guides, is I inherently trust you. I'm so connected to the love in my heart, and that is the portal of my connection to spirit, that I know that even if I face an uncertain experience, that I'm trusting them. And that gives me so much peace. I've been interviewed on different podcasts and things like that. And I always say, I have no idea what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. Maybe I'll be a medium still. Maybe I'll be doing something completely different. I'm going to work with the world of spirit for the highest and greatest good for myself and for what I can offer into the world. That's my truth. I don't know what that looks like. So don't hold on to things and cling to things, scraping your nails down the side of things to stay in one spot when the universe or spirit is clearly asking you to allow for a shift. That doesn't mean a shift is permanent either. It means that sometimes we need to learn how to feel really vulnerable again because we're getting too arrogant. Or we need to learn how to feel really vulnerable again because something big is coming up that is going to be asking a new skill set of us. So I really think the fluidity of your path is really important to be aware of. Oh, I think that's it for today. I think that's where I want to go. If you have any questions, if you like this podcast, can you please share? The other thing is you people that listen to this are amazing. You're around the entire world, from Greenland to Pakistan to India to Scotland to Sweden to Germany. I mean, I'm just so excited. But can you guys comment on wherever you watch the videos or listen to the podcast? Can you comment? I would just like to know you more, and it would just be kind of cool. So have a beautiful day or night wherever you are. Sending you all lots and lots of love, and stay good, do good things. Thank you for listening to another episode of Spirit Portal. If you like this episode, please help me grow, share it with your friends, and have a beautiful day.